Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome, welcome. We are just getting started. So if you're not here yet, go ahead and pop into the live Zoom room. We are just getting everybody here, getting everybody settled in. So I'm so glad you're here. Let me go ahead and get everybody in here. We've got Sharon and Melissa and Jennifer. Welcome, ladies. So glad to have you here. Yay. We're going to get started in just a minute. We've got Laura and Melissa is back. Yay. So again, if you guys are inside of the Facebook group, come on over into the Zoom room. I would love to see you. We are going to be diving in today, all things client attraction, all things client attraction. So super, super glad that you guys are here. Client attraction is actually one of the most important things that you need in your business. Because if you can't attract the right client into your business, you don't have a business, right? So we're going to be diving all into what is client attraction? What is the process that clients go before they can even be a buyer? And how to attract the right client? Because the truth is there are different types of clients that are in your ecosystem right now, and I'm going to share a little bit about what those are. Not everybody in your ecosystem is going to be the right client for you. Sometimes we might get people who are not looking to solve a problem. Maybe they're just kind of like the tire kickers, not really ready to invest. There's multiple levels of people on the pathway to becoming a paying client. So we want to make sure that the people that we're attracting into our ecosystem are ones that are actually looking for a problem to solve. So welcome, everybody. So glad that you guys are here. I am going to go ahead in just a minute. We're going to give people just one more minute to kind of log on, and I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully, Zoom will let me share my screen today. Yay. Okay, great. That was just a really simple setting that I needed to adjust, so that works. Okay, awesome. We are going to be talking all about, we're going to go back up here to client attraction and the client attraction pathway. All right, it's 4 o'clock. We're going to dive in. Welcome. So here we are. We are inside of the Prosperous Holistic Business Training. Super, super glad to have you guys here. And today's day 3. And holy cow, we've covered a lot in just 2 days, haven't we? We've covered all about creating our high-end offer yesterday. We talked about the importance of having a signature system and what that does and how that actually 10x's our business. Day 1 was all about alignment and really getting tapped into being enrolled in ourselves, seeing the value that we have, why it actually makes a difference for us to actually put our work out in the world, what happens if we don't, right? And what happens when we do. So really, really glad that you guys are here today. All right, we're going to dive into client attraction. So here's the thing that we all need to remember. Nobody who is a stranger is going to work with us. Okay. And there is a pathway for those of you that don't know. I know I had to learn this. This is not something that I learned in health coaching school. It's something that they typically don't teach you inside of even business building books. And that is that there is actually a series of steps that people go through before they become a buyer, right? Who knew, right? We just thought, oh, yeah, time for a buyer, right? Like, let me just attract the client and then they're going to be a buyer. Doesn't work that way. Typically, our clients are going to start off as strangers, right? Which means that they have no idea yet that we really know we exist. So in order to help them to find them, we actually need to be visible and we need to attract them into our ecosystem. We're going to talk about that today, but I'm going to go through the whole process first. When we're attracting somebody into our ecosystem, we want to make sure that we're attracting the right client, and here's why. Out of 100% of the people that are viewers that actually see us today, only about 3% of those people right now are actually ready to buy. And those are people that actually already have an experience of know, like, trust with us. So the first thing to understand is that people will not work with you unless they first already have an experience of you. And that's why strangers do not buy. Strangers can't buy because there's no trust, right? There is no level of no, they don't know you. They're not even sure if you can support them yet. And so they're not even really sure if they can trust you yet. So strangers cannot become buyers. They have to actually become viewers first. Okay. They have to actually raise their hand and say, hey, I want to know more about what it is that you're doing. I want to actually get that download that you shared with me. I want to grab that free handout because that sounds like something that I could use. Okay. So if only 3% of the people are ready to buy at any given time, what do we do with the other, the 97%, right? Well, out of the rest, out of the 97%, 30% of them are what I like to call sidewalkers. They might be in your world, they might be liking, they might be commenting, but they're not going to invest because they don't think that they have a problem that needs solving. Okay. Those are the sidewalkers. And what ends up happening, what I see so often, is that coaches and practitioners are trying to convince this 30% that they have a problem. They're trying to convince this 30% that you can help them solve a problem that they don't believe that they have. Crazy, right? But that's what's being taught. Like, let's just convince those people that they need you. No, that doesn't work. Why? Because if somebody doesn't feel like they have a problem, they're not going to invest, right? Crazy, I know, but when we take a look at common sense, like that's really what happens. So the 67% that's left is what we call people in the slow lane. Those are people that are actively looking for a solution to their problem. They just haven't found you yet. Okay. Those are the people that we want to attract into our ecosystem. Why? Because they're actually looking for a solution. They are actually saying, I am done with this nonsense. I'm up at 3 a.m. Googling, how do I get rid of XYZ PDQ? And I'm ready to do something about it. Okay. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of being on Pain Island. I want a fix to this. I just don't know who to go to yet. That's why you have to be visible, right? We have to be visible. When we get down to the basics of the basics of the basics, like it doesn't matter if you're selling mattresses or coaching or massage therapy, there's really only three things that create a healthy business. The first one is getting in front of people so that they can find you, right? If you don't get in front of people, if people don't know you exist, if people don't know that you can support them, if people don't know what it is that you do, then they can't work with you, right? The second thing is let people know what it is that you do and how you can actually help them solve their problem. That also goes underneath the visibility part, right? And if we were to put a term on those two things, we would call that marketing, right? Getting in front of the right people, letting people know what it is that you do and how it is that you can support them. And the third thing is actually inviting people to work with you, right? If we only show up and attract the right person, if we're only delivering value and letting them know what it is that we can do, but we never actually make an invitation, nobody's going to buy. You cannot have a business without that piece. And I'm going to talk more about that. Okay. So the right client for you is the one that's actively looking for a solution to their problem. How do we find them? Well, we find them in multiple ways. And this is where we take a look at, there's a lot of different ways that we can actually market. And we're going to talk more about that client attraction. One of my favorite ways is to actually lead with service and value, something that is a high value freebie, whether it's a PDF, a meditation, a training, something that is actually congruent and valuable to what it is that my client wants help with. Okay. So one of my best, freebies, we actually got like a 93% conversion rate on this, which is unbelievable. Like we typically don't see this, is how to find paying clients, even if you hate marketing, right? How to find paying clients, even if you hate marketing, right? Why? Because I know that most of my clients are struggling. They're not at six figures yet, and they want to know how to find paying clients, right? And not everybody loves marketing, or not everybody loves social media, right? And I'm going to talk more about that because we do need social media, but it's not the only way that we attract people into our ecosystem, okay? So once we attract somebody with value, if I was to say, hey guys, who wants my free training on how to market off social media? 10 ways that work. If you are interested in learning how to market off social media, you would raise your hand, and you would raise your hand by making a comment on Facebook or saying, me, I want that. I would love to have that. I would love to see that, right? Well, now you've just raised your hand, and now you've gone from a stranger to a viewer. You've come into my ecosystem. You've let me know that the solution that I have for you is something that's valuable to you, which means that you're a if you are or a potential client, right? You meet the qualifications for somebody that my services could help support. Okay. I haven't made an offer yet. I don't even know if really I can help you yet, right? This is just the attraction phase. This is the problem that I solve, or this is one problem that I solve. This is a free value experience, right? And look, there's a big difference between high converting freebies and just freebies out there. Okay. Just throwing out education, just throwing out stuff does not mean that it's necessarily going to convert, right? Not all freebies actually convert. So we really do want to make sure that we have a freebie that is high converting. And the only way that we know that is getting clear around what is the problem that our ideal client actually wants to solve, and how can we give them a piece of the puzzle for that. Okay. So once we attract that client into our ecosystem, they become a viewer. They become a viewer. Now we get to build trust. If they're downloading a freebie, they're on your email system now, because that's actually how we deliver our freebies. Or maybe you're inviting them into a Facebook group, because that is where we can build an audience of ideal potential clients, which is really, really important, because that means that you have a community of people that want to hear what it is that you have to say. Right? This isn't just like a business page where anybody and your cousins and mom and dad can participate on the business page. This is a private Facebook group where you get to do things like a weekly live, or say, hey guys, I just created this new freebie. Who wants it? Comment me below if you want the free thing, right? Great. So our Facebook communities, or our audiences, are what we want to build, so that you actually have people in your audience that are interested in the problem that you solve and the solution that you provide. Make sense? Right. If we don't have an audience, we don't have a business. If we don't have people interested in what it is that we do, we don't have a business. Okay. So we have to actually build an audience. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be an influencer. It doesn't mean that you need to have 20,000 people on a list. It just means that we have to have a place that we're able to let somebody land, right? So that we can actually continue to serve and give value and start nurturing a relationship with them. So once they move from viewer, they move into what we call is, and I hate this word, but it's one that everybody understands, is a lead, right? A lead is somebody who is in your ecosystem that is interested. Maybe they've been served with a freebie. Maybe they've been served with some amazing value. Amazing. And we're nurturing relationships. We're reaching out. We're saying, hey, how are you? How is the freebie? How did it work for you? Do you have any questions? I'm so glad you're here in my Facebook group, right? Many of you have gotten messages from me saying, hey, how was day 2? How was day 1? Right? That is part of just being a real person, right? And developing relationships, because it's more important to develop relationships than it is to just go for a transaction. And unfortunately, that's the aggressive sales tactic that makes you feel salesy. Is when you're just going for a transaction, right? How do I get a client? How do I close the deal? As a matter of fact, when I was going through health coach school and I was learning all about that, their script was close the deal. How are you going to close the deal? Before you even had a relationship with somebody, they were teaching you how to close the deal. And I'm like, that is so like, what? Like, that is like, I don't even know whether I can even solve the problem that this person has, but I'm automatically going into a conversation or relationship trying to close the deal. That didn't feel good to me. It felt out of alignment for me. And that's one of the reasons why offering free coaching disguised as discovery sessions, or discovery sessions designed as free coaching, do not work. Okay. Because what you're doing is you're trying to convince somebody that you can solve their problem, and you're not even sure if they have a problem. Right? They're not even sure if you're the person for them. Right? So trying to close the deal with a stranger does not work. And you'll get people that ghost you. What you'll do is you'll have people that say, oh, I can't afford it. You have people that say, oh, let me ask my husband. Oh, I don't have time. Those are all code words for, I don't believe that the solution that you're telling me is possible, or I don't believe that it's possible for me, or I don't trust myself to follow through. It's never really about the money, permission, or time. Okay. But you haven't had a chance to actually even get to know somebody first. So in the nurture process, as you can see, whoops, my mouse just quit on me. I'm gonna have to plug that in. In the nurture process, you can see that we're actually creating a relationship, and we're making sure that someone has gotten value, and she already knows how you can solve a problem. right? She already knows, or he already knows, depending if you're working with men and women, that that they're learning from you. And so they know because they downloaded your freebie that you're a coach that specializes in XYZ PDQ, right? So those of you here already know that I'm a business coach and that I support holistic practitioners and coaches, right? And so you know that, like, there's no, you know, saying, oh yeah, I'm just like here just to like spread information. I am here to share, but I am a business coach. I'm a soulful business coach. I support women who are coaches and practitioners to build and grow their business to 6 figures and beyond using heart-centered strategies that work really, really well for holistic practitioners, right? So, and you guys know that, and I haven't even made an offer to you. I haven't even made an offer. I have not invited you to work with me. I've shared with you that I am going to share one way that you could work with me if it resonates for you and if you feel like you want my support in that way. But I haven't even made the offer. I haven't even opened enrollment into that program yet. Okay. So I just want you to see that there is a process. I haven't even gotten to the invitation piece. Why? Because this is still part of nurturing. This is still part delivering value. This is still part of making sure that you guys are resonating. And those of you that are still here on day 3 are here for a reason, right? You've obviously found value on day 1 or day 2 in some way, and you would like more. Amazing. Great. And so regardless of what it is that you decide to do later, you're going to walk away with amazing value. And that's the intention of nurturing. The intention of nurturing is to develop relationships, to share people, information, and value before you invite somebody to work with you, before you let somebody know how they could potentially work with you. Is this making sense? Yeah. If you are in the Facebook group, go ahead and type a yes in the chat. If you guys are here, go ahead and type yes for me in the chat. Just let me know that this is making sense, that there's actually a client pathway that anybody who is buying goes on, right? Okay. So the 3 ingredients that we need to focus on, and this is called the nurture method. I told you that in day 1 and day 2, we were going to be focusing on foundations. Once we have our foundations, once we know who our ideal client is, we have our signature system, we know, the programs and pricing that we want to offer. Now we want to do these 3 pieces. This is how you have consistent 10K to 50K months. This is how you have predictable clients over and over and over again. And it's when you implement these 3 things, and you have to implement all 3 of them. They're like 3 legs of a stool. You cannot just do 1 or 2 and not all 3. And here's why. If you are attracting people and nurturing them, but you don't invite them to work with you, there's no way to make a sale. There's no way for them to actually work with you, right? Because you didn't make an invitation, right? And I cannot tell you how many people get stuck here. They're great at attracting. They're doing talks, they're sharing freebies, they're getting on podcasts, they're doing Facebook Lives, and they never actually invite somebody to explore whether or not that person wants to work with them. There's no invitation. These 3 things are things that have to happen. Okay. Now, if we nurture and invite, but we're not attracting the right client, then that means that we are actually having conversations with people who don't believe that they have a problem. Those are the sidewalkers, right? It's really hard to have a business if we're not attracting the right client into our ecosystem. Remember, we want to attract the people that are in the slow lane. The people in the fast lane are already in our ecosystem. But the people that are in the slow lane are the people that are looking for a problem that you can solve. Okay, so when we're attracting the wrong type of people, we're attracting the looky-loos, the tire kickers, the people that don't believe that they have a problem. Okay, now if we attract and invite, but we don't nurture, we're trying to do the whole aggressive marketing thing of, hey, here's a freebie, do you want to buy my thing? Right? There's no nurture. And this is what is left out of many, many, many business trainings. It's why I named this process the nurture method, because this is what I see coaches do not know how to do. They might know how to make a post, which is attraction. They might know how to share a freebie. It might not be a high converting freebie though, because it's not talking to the right client. It's talking to the sidewalker and not actually the one in the slow lane, right? So Sharon, if you struggle to find the ideal client, chances are either you're not 100% sure who that client is, or you're talking to the wrong one. You're talking to the ones that are the looky-loos and not the ones that are actually wanting to have a solution. Okay, so the nurture piece is the piece that is missing. I wasn't taught it until I actually worked with a business coach. And when I got this piece, it made all the difference in the world. This is when I stopped doing discovery sessions. I'm like, hallelujah. I do not need to try to convince or persuade anybody to work with me. I do not need to try to overcome somebody's money objection. I do not need to try to overcome somebody's time objection. Because here's the thing, when somebody gets to the point where they are still in your ecosystem and they are interested in having a conversation with you about how you can support them, they've already gone through that process. And so they're already qualified to have a conversation with you, which means that the percentage of those people that decide that they are a yes for you are going to be much, much higher than the people that you're just trying to invite into a free discovery session. Okay, I'm going to share an analogy with you so that this makes a little bit more sense. This works really, really well for my clients when I share this analogy. I want you to think about your offers, the two core offers that you have, to be like a mansion. I live in the South, so I like to think of like, a plantation, house. And, we've got the upstairs master bedroom. Maybe we've got a pool out back. Maybe we've just, got the kitchen. Each one of the rooms inside of your mansion is an offer. But we really want to focus on two main rooms, right? Now, in front of that plantation is a beautiful porch. Who doesn't love porches and rocking chairs? I don't know. I love porches and rocking chairs. Okay. Then we've got a pathway that leads from your porch, right? And along this beautiful pathway are these little benches where people can sit and just enjoy the flowers, the view, whatever. And then we've got a sidewalk that goes in front of that pathway. Okay. Now, this is the attract, nurture, invite process. It is our job not to run out of our house, grab somebody off the sidewalk and drag them into the master penthouse. Gross, right? But that is what people try to do when they try to turn a stranger into a buyer. They're running out and they're like, oh, you need to be in this room with me, right? There's no nurturing. They don't even know if they want to be in that room with you, right? And so I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't have time, I don't have money, blah, 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 all the objections, right? So our job is not to do that. Our job is to be on the pathway where the beautiful benches are and saying, hey, would you like to come have a seat on my bench? I've got something that could really serve you. I have a great freebie. Here's a freebie, where to find paying clients in any economy. If you want it, happy to share it with you. Another bench might be, hey, come join me in my Facebook group. I do lives, every week, or come join me at this free talk, right? These are little benches where, believe it or not, people are actually giving you little yeses. Why? Because you're inviting them into something that they're saying yes to. We never, ever, ever want our clients' first yes to be to our offer. Okay. If they haven't given us a yes before we invite them, we're moving too fast. Make sense? We want them to say yes and have a seat at the bench. And they can spend as much time as they want at these benches. They might sit at each bench multiple times before they are actually asking you if they could come and have a seat up on my front porch. And so that's where the invitation comes. The invitation isn't come by my thing. The invitation is, would you like to come have a seat on my front porch so that I can hear what it is that you're looking for and match the right resource for you? I don't know if she wants the master bedroom. I don't know if she wants to hang out at the pool yet. We haven't had a conversation yet, right? So it would be silly for me to automatically try to sell her into something, right? So this is where we invite people. This is an invitation. This is, would you like to explore having my support? Would you like to explore joining me in this XYZ thing or something else that might be the best fit for you? Would you like to have a conversation with me? Okay. Now, there's a very big difference between having a conversation about supporting somebody and having a conversation that's delivering value. And the difference is, what many of you guys have booked calls with me for is a business audit. A holistic business audit is actually one of my benches. It's not my front porch. I'm not making an offer to you. I am listening. I'm helping you. I'm giving you another resource, which is moving you from one bench to another to let you have an experience. Okay. Now, if on that call you say, and how could I work with you? I'll book another call for you at another time where we've got more time and I can actually listen more to what it is that you're looking for to make sure that you have access to the right resource. Make sense? Right. So here's the thing, when someone comes up and has a seat with you on the front porch, you don't need to overcome any obstacles, any price objections, any of that, because they already know that there are some different options to work with you. They just haven't made the decision as to what room they want to go in yet. Make sense? Doesn't that feel so much more heart-centered and in service to people? Yeah, Christine, go ahead and come off mute. I'm going to stop my share for just a minute so that I can see you. Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, so I think what is it, I'm just trying to understand that all those invitations to get onto the bench are really the things, where you're just, like you say, talking to them about what is their issue and, how you could support them is really that's the high converters.
Right.
Is that's the high conversion. That's better than, that's what you're trying to say. That's the way to do that. That's more likely to have someone say, yes, they would like to.
Yes, because without that nurture piece,
Yeah.
you're basically just trying to take somebody from the sidewalk into
Yeah.
the house. And that rarely works. So what you do need to do is actually build relationships with people. You just have to be a real person. Look, everybody wants to be heard. We all want to be heard. And so it's really important that before we actually invite somebody to work with us, that we hear them and we're listening and we're like, okay, what are you looking for? Right? Why are we making offers to people when we're not even sure what it is that they're looking for? Right? But yet that's what we're taught to do. Go make offers. Well, you have to nurture first in order to get to know somebody first, in order to see, well, what's the offer that's the best fit for them? Not what's the offer that you want to sell, but what's the offer that's the best fit for them? Really important. And when we do that, guess what? We let go of all expectation of needing to close the deal, of needing to get the client, of needing to, drag somebody across the finish line, of needing to convince somebody that they need you. None of that is necessary. And it actually makes, giving away 1 hour free discovery sessions irrelevant. You don't need to do it when you're building real relationships with people. Okay. So this is what I do teach inside Activate Abundance Academy, because this is so critical. And I will share later on tonight, those of you that decide that you don't want to stay or hear about Activate Abundance, you don't have to. I will share with you ways that you can join me in there if you want and what's included. But that's not the only way that I can support you. So just so you know, again, I've got multiple houses or multiple rooms in my plantation house, right? There are multiple ways that people get support. So before I actually invite anybody into the program, I like to have a conversation with them to make sure that it's the best fit for them. Because what I don't want to happen is somebody to actually enroll in one of my programs and having it not be a good fit and for him not to actually be served in the best way possible. Okay, because that just doesn't work. Nicole, yeah.
I also think this is really great in terms of thinking about who you want to work with in terms of the relationship, because I have had experiences where, if someone does, like you say yes before they even know your work, and then it's not a resonant, it's not a fulfilling for you either. And it oftentimes leads to problems and like the dynamics that you never really wanted. So it's kind of, using like actor term, it's like an audition or an application without it having to really, it's chance to assess, like, are we the right fit?
Yes.
Do you resonate with what I'm saying? Because what I'm doing here is a version of what you're going to get, even if it's not exactly it.
Exactly.
And it makes me feel better as the practitioner or the consultant or, coach to make sure that they do know what they're getting, and they can't say, well, you promised this A, B, and C, but especially if it's a high-end offer.
Exactly.
So I think that's a great.
And the beauty of this too is that it feels in service to both of you. When you're having a conversation with somebody, if I'm having a conversation with somebody and they start telling me that they really want to run fancy funnels and Facebook ads and Instagram ads and all of that, I'm not their girl. Now, I have got an amazing a colleague that I will support them. I will say, you know what, I'm not your girl, but here's somebody. I will help them get what it is that they want. And that feels so much more in service. And that also takes the pressure off me of needing to try to get the client. My job is not to try to get the client. My job is to listen and to hear and to make an offer if it resonates for both of us on ways that I think it's going to support them. But it's ultimately up to my client to decide whether they're a yes or no. That's not my job, right? It's not my job to make the decision for somebody. And it's not my job to try to convince somebody or try to turn a no into a yes or all of that nonsense. It's only my job to support somebody and help them make an empowered decision, which is one not based out of fear, one not based out of doubt, not based out of, I don't know if I can do this, or now it's not the right time. I mean, there are, some obstacles that we get into with our own mindset that actually keep us in fear, that actually cause us not to actually make an empowered decision. My job is to help somebody make an actual empowered decision. So no matter whether it's a yes or a no, they feel good, they feel valued, they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel held, and they walk away from the conversation even better than before they had the conversation with me. And if I can't support them, I get to direct them to who can. How might it change your business if you went into your conversations like that? Yeah, wouldn't it be different? Wouldn't you actually look forward to having conversations with people instead of dreading conversations? Yeah, you guys, and I think I said this on day one, but I secretly wished that people wouldn't show up to the discovery calls when people book them with me. I could book discovery calls. I could give away free coaching all day long. But I secretly wished that they wouldn't show because I felt like I had to convince or persuade them to work with me. And that never felt good to me. Now I really look forward to every time I see somebody book a call with me. I'm like, yay, can't wait to see how I can support them. Can't wait to hear what it is that they're looking for. Can't wait to, for me to actually help them to create a win. It's not, oh, can't wait to close the client. It's never about that, right? Now, do we need to make sales in our business? Yeah, but we get to make heart-centered sales. We get to make invitations, and our potential clients get to make the decision about which offer feels the best for them based on the level of support that they want. And so I'm just going to share an example of what that might look like. So for example, one of my clients years ago, when I was building my health coaching practice, came to me and she said, I want to lose 50 pounds. I'm struggling with anxiety. I wake up every night at 3 a.m. and I can't go back to sleep. It's really affecting my work. And I have lymphedema and I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not using the machine. And I'm like, okay. And she said, and I don't have a job. And I thought, oh, what do I do? Like I was brand new in coaching and I'm like, well, maybe I'll just give her like a $97 offer, right? She doesn't have a job. Like maybe I can support her in like a one-off session, $97. That should be good. And I stopped and I said, Chris, why would you do that? Can you help her lose 50 pounds, get a control of anxiety, and help her with her lymphedema in one session? No. So why would I offer her something that isn't supportive of her? And I got on a call with her and I said, look, I hear you. I can absolutely support you. These are ways that I can support you, but it's going to take time. You can either work with me. These are ways that we could work together. You can work with me in a 6-month program, and I'll give you a massage every single month to help with the lymphedema. I had these other bonuses too. You get access to the Calm app to help calm your nervous system. We'll work on that too. Or you can work with me for 3 months. Which would you like? And she said, I want the whole 6-month package. That was the very first high-end offer for 6 months that I sold. I remember it was $4,500. And I was like, and she said, oh, by the way, I'm starting a new job in December. So can we talk about, days that are going to work for our coaching session? And I was like, absolutely. So even though she said I didn't have oh God, I don't have a job. Look, we can never judge where anybody is in their finances or in their desire for transformation. Because I know many, many times I have invested in something first before I've had the money and I've had to figure it out. And I'm sure you guys have too, right? You've invested in something and you're like, okay, I got to figure this out, right? And we do because we value it, right? We value it. Even if it's like, well, I need new tires in my car. My kid needs, here's an example. If your kid came home with a broken arm, would you go shop doctors or would you go to the emergency room? I wouldn't shop doctors. I wouldn't be taking my kid from one doctor to the next, asking for the lowest price. No, I would go to the emergency room. I would make sure that why? Because I value that. And then I would figure it out. There's multiple ways that I could figure it out, right? This is where we're like, okay, now I need to get creative. How do I create the money for this XYZ thing? And I've had to do that multiple times. I had to do that when I hired my first business coach. I had to do that for several different coaching. I had to do it when I bought my first house. Okay. The money wasn't all in the bank. I had to figure it out. So what I want you to hear is you are all powerful manifestors and creators. And if it's something that you really value, you'll find a way. And the same thing for your clients. Same thing for your clients. They will find a way. There are multiple ways. Sometimes they might need your support brainstorming that. And I actually love doing that with my clients, brainstorming different ways, because we kind of get stuck in this little narrow place of, I don't know how I can do this. There are multiple ways. Okay. So attract, nurture, and invite is actually the three things that we want to put on repeat in order to attract the right client into our ecosystem, to nurture and build relationships, and then invite somebody to take the natural next step with us, whether that's a conversation, whether that is an assessment, doesn't matter. Something that we get to serve and hear and let them know that we see them and we get them. Okay. And then we let it go. And we let it go. We're like, it's up to them. No convincing, no persuading, no dragging anybody across the finish line. Okay. So that is actually one of the funnest ways to actually build and grow your business. And this leads me to, again, every day the basics. Every day the basics. 3 simple steps on repeat, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Attract. Get in front of people so they can find you. Be visible. You want to attract your soulmate clients with value. And if you're unsure who your soulmate client is, that's what we can support you with. And if you're unsure of where to go to attract the ideal client, that's a much longer training and conversation. So that is something that we help you with inside of Activate. Because the truth is, there are lots of ways offline and there's lots of ways online to attract your ideal client. It really depends on what works for you, right? There's not one way that is going to work the best way all the time. There are multiple ways that will work. Okay, so my job is to customize it for you to find a way that works right for you. The second thing is nurture. Connect with them authentically. Engage with them. Help them create a win. Give them an experience. Look, people are more discerning these days. They've been burned before. They've invested in programs before. They didn't get what they thought that they were going to get before, right? I know, heck, I spent $60,000 with a marketing team and my business went down by 50%. Okay. So we've all been burnt before. Okay. So let me tell you, this piece is really, really important because the market is more discerning. It's not that people aren't buying, they are. It's just that there is a higher perceived of risk these days because they have been burned. So that makes it even more important that you approach it authentically, help them to create wins before you invite them to buy with you. Okay. We're actually going to talk more about the 4 reasons why your clients say no to work with you tomorrow in the invitation. Okay. Tomorrow we're going to do attract and nurture today and invite tomorrow, because there's 4 specific things that we see in the 2024 market now, which are reasons why people are saying no. And actually the attract, nurture, and the invite solves them. Pretty darn cool. So the last one is invite. Invite them to explore having your support so you can help them solve the problem. Now I want you to notice the order. Attract, nurture, invite. It's not invite first. It's attract, nurture, invite, in that order. Okay. These are the most important. These are your revenue generating activities. If you do nothing else But these 3 things, you will have an amazing business. Guaranteed. How do I know? Because I do it myself. Every day, these things I do. Every single day. My clients do them every day. Right? Now, some of my clients get stuck in certain places, and that's what my job is as a coach, is to help them overcome the stuck places. Right? Maybe we try something to attract, and they're like, oh, that actually attracted the wrong client. Okay, we need to tweak the freebie. We need to tweak the value. We need to get into the right rooms where your ideal client is then, right? Right? Or maybe there's a nurture piece where, you're unsure about how to actually do the nurture piece. There's a lot of different ways that we can nurture our clients. We can do in-person talks. We can do events. We can do retreats. We can be guest speakers in other programs. We can do Facebook swaps. We can do events online like this, nurture events that I'm doing with you right now. All right? There are so many different ways to nurture. And then the invitation really comes down to identifying the people who are interested, who are in your ecosystem, and simply asking them if they are interested in exploring having support. That's all it is. It's an invitation. It's like, would you like a cookie? We can't make somebody eat the cookie, but we do need to invite. Okay. And this is where most people get stuck in the invite because they feel salesy. I don't want to ask somebody if they want to, because they feel like I have to say the right thing in order to not get a no. Or I have to say the right thing in order for somebody to, not think that I'm salesy. And what ends up happening is that you don't make the invitation. And so we leave people stranded on Pain Island. Instead of just saying, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Are you interested in having support around this? Yes? No? No problem. Yes? Great. No? Great. Like there's nothing going wrong here if anybody says no, right? It's really okay. It's just making the invitation. Right? But we also want to make the invitation only with people who are qualified, which means that they're already looking to solve a problem, right? We're not just going to go out to anybody and invite them. We want to make sure that they're pre-qualified, that they already have an experience, they've already been nurtured, which means that they already have what? A know, like, trust experience with you, right? Because they've been nurtured. Does this make sense? Awesome. So inside Activate Abundance, we actually do this with the golden hour. We do our attract, nurture, and invite every morning or whenever you decide that you're going to be at your desk. And we commit to a golden hour to build consistent and predictable results. As a matter of fact, I provide trackers so that you guys can track. So you're like, okay, like, what do I need to do today? Let me, check the box, right? Because what we track grows. Right? What we give attention to grows, right? And so it doesn't really need to take all darn day, but we do need to take action consistently in order to create predictable results, right? If we want consistent clients, we have to take consistent action. If we want predictable income, we need to take consistent action. Okay? So here's where you guys get to decide every day, or at least, and again, not all day, but what is one way that you could attract somebody into your ecosystem? What is one way that you could reach out to the person that comes into your ecosystem and just nurture them? And what is one way that you could invite somebody who's already in that 3%, they already have an experience of know, like, trust with you, and invite them to having a conversation to explore whether or not they would be interested in having your support for something. Okay, so this is where you guys, and I'm going to help you with this right now because we're going to dive into the invite tomorrow. Awesome. All right. What are some ideas for attraction? I've shared some of mine already. What is one way that you want to put down there that you would like to attract somebody, a new person, someone who's walking along that sidewalk in front, looking for you? She's looking for you. How are you going to attract her to come and have a seat on your bench? And if you say, I don't know, that's not true. If you say, I don't know, that's a thought. That's not true. Go ahead, Deanna.
So one way I know of is showing them what you have to offer, whether it's a product, something that we sell, or it's something that you do. For example, if I'm working in my garden, or if I'm milking a cow, or if I'm selling some beef, or like them, showing them that's something they may be interested in if you're in the right niche, niche with folks.
So,
Awesome. Yeah. So that's just being visible and sharing what it is that you do. Beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah. You can just share a picture of what it is that you're doing, right? Like if my husband came in and took a picture of me, in front of a screen, I could share that. Be like, hey, you're doing this great event. So excited. Yeah. Great. So, yep. Guess what you get to do tomorrow, Deanna? Yeah. Great. Who else has a question about attraction? Who else has an idea of what they could do to
Oh.
attract? Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking, about this education department at the local,
Mhm.
like just doing a talk, for a
Mhm.
very minimal, fee and everything. It's just a registration fee, but do
Yeah,
that, just do
absolutely.
a talk about, you know, one of the topics that I might cover in health coaching.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whether it's a paid talk or a free talk, talks are great. Absolutely. Because the people that sign up to come to the talk are pre-qualifying themselves. They're already saying, yes, I'm interested in that thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very good. Cool. Who else?
yeah, I was going to say the same thing as
Yeah.
Christine. We moved to a new location last year. I know no one.
Mm-hmm.
So doing a monthly workshop out in the community,
Mm-hmm.
sharing the different modalities that I practice.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and I've contacted other providers to
Mm-hmm.
use their space.
Yep.
So they're promoting it for me
Beautiful.
as well as me
Yes.
promoting it. Right.
Yes.
So it's
Yep.
using connections with
Yep.
other people to
Yep.
get in front of their people.
Yes, that's another lever that we talk about and activate. That's collaborating. How do we collaborate with other holistic practitioners or doctors or people that serve our ideal client in a different way than we do? Right? Yeah. So one of the things I was actually had a conversation with Chris this morning about how I built and grew my holistic practice in health coaching and nutrition was by collaborating with chiropractors, acupuncturists, integrative doctors, neuroscience, digestive specialists, I think I said chiropractors. Yeah. So those people served my client in a different way. Right. So it was those people that were going to that type of care who I knew were going to be most interested, right? Yoga studios, right? Meditation studios, right? So if you're curious about where to find your clients, I want you to think about where do they go when they leave their house? What else do they invest in? Do they go to yoga? Do they go to Pure Barre? Do they go to Orange Theory? Do they go to acupuncture? Do they go to meditation classes? Do they go to events? Do they go to conferences? What books do they read? Do they listen to podcasts? So that's another attraction, podcasts. Another one is meetups. You could do a meetup group. As a matter of fact, one of my clients actually just signed her very first coaching client today from her meetup. And she does monthly meetups. She does them online in her Facebook group, but she advertises it on a meetup group. So another way to do client attraction. Yeah. Awesome. Laura, what about you? What are some ideas that you're like, oh my God, please don't call on me. You're like a deer in the headlights. Any ideas for client attraction for you?
Hi. Yeah,
Hi.
I don't. So once a month, a couple of other ladies and I are doing this thing called a spa social. So we're doing like mini services,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. And then I was considering, because I just got my sound healing certification, although I'm not terribly practiced at it yet, I was thinking about bringing a couple of bowls down to the local, there's a park nearby with a lovely lake and people are down there all the time. So if I just go maybe set up and
Oh my God,
do
I love that idea. I have
15 or 30 minutes and have some business cards with me, or I'm not certain if I could bring my
Mhm.
massage chair and take payments out in the world without can I do that without I mean, I can, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like a weird thing to do, but a lot of people are like biking and running and stuff on that. It's like a loop. So,
Oh, so good.
that's
Those are great ideas. Those are fantastic ideas, Melissa.
Like I'm just thinking about you, Laura, like lunch and learns. You could do
Mhm.
something like that corporate wise. Bring
Mhm.
your massage chair in and offer massages on lunch breaks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything to get in front of people.
Yeah, so again, this is something else that I did. So my church would have a bike ride. I can't even remember what it's called now. And they asked me, they said, Chris, will you come and bring your massage chair? I'm like, sure. So I did like 5-minute massages to the people once they finished their rides for free. And you would be surprised how many clients I actually got from that. Like they want it. They're like, oh my gosh, how do I book an appointment with you? I'm like, here you go. Here's my card. Here's the website. Right? So attract and nurture. That's both actually. Attracting the right client who's looking for a massage. We're just in front of our people. Actually doing the massage or playing the sound bowls is the nurture. Right? Yeah, absolutely. Would you like more information? Here's my card. Right? Amazing. Cool. Who else? Nicole, what about you? And Jen, I
Sure,
think she
yeah, because I'm moving from more hands-on to online, more intuitive type
yeah.
sessions. So I talked to my naturopath because
Mhm.
she's been super supportive, and we've just developed a great relationship. And I had said, I would love to offer you a session, because I thought if she has the experience of it, then she can explain, like, because we're not
Yep.
competing, and
Yep.
I said, it can help with when you've tried all the supplements, when you're like, for those people who are like
Mhm.
me, kind of stuck, like
Yes.
we reached, and now we need to explore some other avenues. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so she's like, yeah, as soon as you're ready, just give me your, I'm happy to
Love
do
that.
it. Give me your business cards. And so,
Exactly. Exactly. So offering, with a collaboration partner online, there's other ways too. Would you guys like to hear some ways that you can also attract online? Okay.
yeah.
One is we call this one word marketing. Who are my women who, or who are my men who, or who are my people who would like my, guide for, or my handout for, then it needs to be specific, right? If they're having a hard time sleeping, who wants my sleep guide for how to get the best night's sleep ever? Right? Comment sleep in the comments below. That's one way, because only the people that comment sleep are self-identifying that they are your potential client, right? So you can put that on one of those big, colorful black backgrounds, and that's one way. We call that one word marketing, and that's a really great way because when people comment, Facebook actually boosts it so more people see it. When more people comment, more people see it. So that actually works even more effectively than just popping a link. Okay, so that's one way. Another way is you can be a guest in somebody's paid program, right? So I'm a guest in a couple different paid programs. One of my collaborators is certifies women in menopause coaching. So she gives them the certification, and I do a business training inside there. And many of them have come to work for me there. I've also done online talks to study groups, right? So people that are first getting their certification and they have a study group, but they're unsure how to build their business, I'll go do a talk for free. So you can do online talks. You can do Facebook swaps with people too, right? So you can think about who would be somebody who would serve your client in a different way. If you're a life coach, connect with a health coach. If you're a health coach, connect with a life coach. If you're, an intuitive coach, you could connect with either. If you do energy therapy or sound therapy, you could reach out to somebody who's got a yoga studio that's got a Facebook group, right? There's multiple ways that you could do that. One of my energy workers, for those of you that are energy workers, does a live on Zoom healing circle every single month on Zoom, right? We know energy is energy is energy, right? It doesn't stop working just because we're on Zoom, right? And so every single month, that's the way that she attracts people into her ecosystem. Who wants to come to the free healing circle? And it's on the 7th of every month at 7 o'clock. Easy to remember, right? Yeah. So the reason why I wanted to go over multiple ideas is because I want you to see how easy it is to actually attract people into our ecosystem once we start really thinking about it, right? If instead we say, gosh, where are my people? What would be something fun that I could do to attract somebody into my world? Now we're asking the right question that our brain is going to start now looking for solutions versus, I don't know where my client is. I don't know where to find clients. I don't know what to do. That actually puts your brain in scarcity and lack, and it just isn't helpful. right? So the reason why I like doing these trainings and I like everybody to participate is because each one of you have amazing ideas that might benefit somebody else here, right? Because we kind of get closed into what we think is possible. And so I'm asking you to step out of that and instead say, well, what could I do? How could I do this? What would be fun for me? What would be something easy? What would be a low lift? Who do I know that actually might even help me? Who do I know that might be fun to connect or collaborate with? Right? So that's the attraction piece. And we should be doing something, one thing every day, whether it's online or in person, to bring people into our ecosystem. Okay. Nurture is the next step. And some of the things that we do to attract also nurture, right? Some of you are brand new to this event and you were attracted because of the title of the event. And now you're getting nurtured. You're just getting value, right? So that is another way. When you do talks, that actually serves to attract the right client and also to nurture them and give them an experience. Okay, but what we know is that people need to have an experience in order for them to know, like, or trust you first, right? So this nurture piece has to happen. Another way to nurture is just to reach out to somebody who, if you have a Facebook group, if it's just, hi, welcome, I'm so glad you're here. Or if somebody does say, yes, I want your free thing, message them. Hi, thank you so much for asking for it. Here you go. I'll circle back around in a couple days and just see how you're doing. Right? Checking back in with people. Hi, how are you? Is there any way that I could serve you? That's a way to nurture. We're not asking for anybody's money. Right? Yeah. So how is this sounding for you guys? How does this resonate with you about building your business in this way? Do you think it's possible for you to actually grow a business like this? Yeah. Yes. Great. Yeah. It absolutely is possible, and it actually is fun. It actually is fun. Like, I look forward to doing these, right? Of course, the first time I was a little nervous because I'm like, I don't know, what if I say the wrong thing, right? But it's been 3 years now. I know what to say. I know how to deliver value. I know my stuff. I'm not worried about it. My job is, again, it's not here to try to convince or persuade you. It's to nurture, connect with you, and for you to see if you resonate with me. Right? You might not resonate with this. You might be like, Chris, that sounds amazing. I think you're a cool person. I like your energy, but I really want to run ads. Amazing. Let me give you to someone who can help you with that. Right? But we don't know if we resonate with somebody until we actually have an experience with them. And that's why I like doing things like this, because you can have an experience and then I can get to know you and you get to know me. And if it makes sense to work together, great. And if it doesn't, stay in my world and let me continue to serve you and support you until you are ready. Yeah. Again, no need to try to close the deal. Awesome. So what else is coming up for you guys? Any thoughts? Healing circle idea, Jen said. Yeah, fantastic. Okay. All right. Any other questions before we move on? Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah, Nicole.
And I know you probably cover this in your bigger course, but I'm just curious for myself,
Yeah.
getting stuck in the nurture where
Yeah.
it creates so much high value free stuff or opportunities that you are, I know that then you are inviting, but
Mhm.
can you give too much away that people are like, oh, I got everything I needed. I don't need that, how,
Mhm.
I guess that's about finessing how you.
So here's the thing, and this is my personal view on it. There's a lot of different business coaches and they might give you a different answer. But what I see works for me and for my clients is I honestly don't worry about giving away too much.
Okay.
And here's why. I know that if you could have done it just with information, you would have.
Right. That's a great point. Yeah.
Okay. So until
Mhm.
you actually have support and until your client actually has the support and implements it with accountability, chances are it's just going to take them a whole heck of a lot longer, even if they decide to do it on their own, right? Can you build your business on your own? Yes, you can. Absolutely. It's going to take you a while, though. I'll just be fully honest because you don't know what
Great.
it is that you don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
So my job and my programs are designed to collapse the timeline for you, to save you time, to give you done for you materials so that you don't have to create them on your own, to know exactly what to say, to have email templates, to have messaging, to know exactly what it is to do, to have my brain with you and to have access so that I can answer your questions so you don't get stuck in your own mind spinning. Right? So honestly, I don't worry about giving away too much information. I think that it's actually more valuable to give high quality information that if people decide that they want to try on their own, great. Like, great, go, yes, absolutely
Yeah,
go
and
try
that's
this
an
on your own.
option and that's supported as well. It's just
Mhm.
that you have the other option when
Yeah,
it, yeah, I'm trying to think I've got it's more complicated than I can go into here, but just a way to do that, to
yeah,
offer
yeah,
both, because it's important to me to help people who don't have the means all the time. And so
yeah,
I'm trying to, and I do feel like this is a practice that we're always trying to do every day. We don't,
yeah,
so I'm trying to do a little bit of both, but I did have a fear. I'm like, am I shooting myself in the foot by, if I create something where I'm giving so much away?
yeah,
But
yeah,
I think it's a perfect distinction is
yeah,
that information is one thing, one-on-one support and sort of being in your like
yeah.
healing supportive cocoon is a very different thing.
It is, it
You're
is.
gonna
And
get different results, both wonderful, but different. Yeah.
yeah, and having the right steps to take in the right order because we don't what it is that we don't know, right? It's just like, if you gave them a book, would they get results from just
Yeah.
reading the book? No, right? They know, again, I used this the other day. I know what to do to have six-pack abs. Do I have six-pack abs? No, I don't. Right? I also don't have a personal trainer. If I hired a personal trainer and I worked at it every day and I had someone that says, do this first, do this second, eat this after, I would probably have six-pack abs if I want to. So do I know what to do? Yeah. Do I do it? No. Right? So
Yeah.
it's not about information. We just have to
Yeah.
remember that information does not equal transformation. Right?
Mhm.
If that was true, we could Google how to create a six-figure or multiple six-figure business, and you guys wouldn't need to listen to me. You could buy all the books that are out there on it, right? Or all the freebies that you've downloaded already would work,
Right.
right? Same. Look, I did the same thing too. I did the same thing too, right? And what I know is that it wasn't until I actually invested in my own support to learn
Mhm.
the right things in the right way and to have actually somebody that had their brain and their heart with me on my business that I actually started creating traction and started, it was when I hired my first business coach, I created six figures in 6 months.
Right. And it does, it collapses the
Mhm.
timeline of,
Yeah,
yeah, and it's less taxing on you. You can put the energy into something, to the
right.
actual processes and materials and things like that versus the spinning of like the wheels of looking for a million videos on YouTube on how to do it.
Yes. 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 Or tweaking the website or tweaking the handout or just finding the right yellow that needs to be on the handout a gazillion times, right? Like, yeah, yeah.
Great. Thank
Yeah,
you. That's so helpful.
absolutely. Such a great question for sure. Now, I do want to just share one difference as far as information versus coaching. Okay. So, what we don't want to get into is actually coaching somebody through the process over and over and over again, right? Because then you're just giving free coaching and they feel like they have to do something first before they decide to work with you. Okay. So, there is a difference between sharing the what and the why and a piece of the how versus customizing it specifically to them, right? Like, I don't know enough about any of your businesses unless you're my client right now to give customized information where I could say, you need to do this and this is going to be the best fit for you. I don't know that. And so I can't actually, I can answer your questions, but I can't give you all of the information on this session, which would be, an actual coaching session on how you would do it in how it would work specifically for you, the way you want to do it in your business, right? Yeah. So that's why when we do assessments or audits, they're not hour long. They're like 15 minutes, they're 20 minutes, sometimes they're 30 minutes. They might go a little over. That's no big deal. But our job isn't necessarily to give people coaching on those, it's to uncover where they're stuck and to help them see that there is a way out and to maybe give them a piece that they can start with. But it's not a free coaching session, if that makes sense. That makes sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome, awesome. All right. For those of you that don't want to know about Activate Abundance, you can pop off. For those of you that do want to know about Activate Abundance Academy, I'm going to share a little bit about what your next step could look like. It's not the only way, but it is one way that I get to support my clients. And we open up Activate Abundance Academy a couple times a year. And so now is the time that we are opening up spots, 15 spots, for the next people that want wrap around support in their business. And it is absolutely wraparound support. And here's why it's wraparound support. It's not just courses that you do on your own. It's one-on-one calls, and it's monthly one-on-one calls, and it's done for you content. Like, I can't tell you, when I created that, I was like, what do I need? What did I need? What is it that I wish I had when I was a coach? Can somebody just give me the emails, please, on what to sell, what to say in order to invite people to a nurture event? Could somebody just give me the email templates so that I knew what to put in a nurture sequence if I was going to do that? Could someone just give me the template inside of Canva? We do by Deanna, we do a lot of wraparound support because we want to make sure that you have everything that you need over a period of time so that you can hone and master the process. And I am going to see if I can find on my desktop, just so that you can see, what's in it, what's inside. And that way you can decide whether or not you want to, learn more about it. And if you do, great. And if you don't, not a big deal, but at least you know what's inside. Okay. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. So Activate Abundance Academy is a year-long container. Okay. And you get the entire system that I am going to be teaching you this week. So alignment, designing your programs, your offers, designing your own freedom calendar, making sure that you are all dialed in on your own self-care. This is really important. We're actually going to plan that out first before we even put your business things in, right? How are you attracting people into your ecosystem? How are you nurturing them? How are you inviting them, right? That is a process that we go through, and you get all of that, okay? So you're going to get all of those how-to trainings. You're also going to get done for you materials. Oh my gosh, no lie, everything that I'm giving you, I've already spent money on. So the value of just the done for you materials is $20,000 in itself. I'm giving you my signature talks that I use personally, that I hired somebody to help me create, so that you can use them as a template. And you can take my talk, and we know that it works, and we know that it converts. So there's no guessing games here. You just get to tweak it into your language. 2 signature talks, email swipe files to invite people to come to your event, templates for your freebies, promotional graphics, marketing materials, templates for what to say in the DM. How many times have you been like, God, I really want to reach out to this person, but I'm not sure what to say, right? We've got templates for messaging. Again, you've got your email nurture sequence. We give you lead trackers and weekly action trackers so you know what to focus on. All of these are already created for you. You do not need to spend any time doing that. And then the how-to trainings, these are even extra, so you get access to my personal copywriter's posting for profit. She is giving you a course on how you actually post in a way that makes sense. By the way, she also does live group every single month. You get marketing and copywriting calls with her for free. You don't need to pay for those. We teach you how to create a freebie in Canva that converts. Okay. We have a tech coach. You don't know how to create it in Canva? Guess what? You can have a one-on-one call with our tech coach every single month if you want. You can have a one-on-one call with our messaging coach anytime you want. You get to pick one-on-one call every month, and you get quarterly one-on-one calls with me. So not only do you have access to me every single week when we do our Q&A calls, but you also get quarterly training sessions with me so that I can help you put your strategy together every single quarter. So you know what to do, you know what to focus on. You also have anytime access with me in our Voxer group. So we have a voice messaging group that is private to only people in Activate Abundance Academy. And so you can voice message me any day. Our team is in there too. So our tech coach is in there, our success coach, our mindset coach is in there, our productivity coach is in there. Everybody's in there. So our whole team is in there. You also get to learn how to set up your marketing system, how to create marketing off social media. One of my favorites is how to create a cash infusion anytime you need it. This is actually the short-term strategy of creating something for the people that are already in your warm market. And actually, I'm offering this as a bonus for the first 5 people that join Activate Abundance. You get a private 30 days with me to help you create a cash infusion of $2,000 to $10,000 in your first 30 days. It's just you and me for 30 days. I'm going to help you create the offer. We're going to have 2 one-on-one calls, and then you've got voice access to me on Voxer for the 30 days that you need privately. You can even send me anything via email. So that's actually a bonus for the first 5 clients. If you're not one of the first 5, you get access to our Cash Flow Accelerator. And that is our course that actually teaches you how to do it. How do you do Facebook groups? Right? We have a whole training in there and a whole module in there on how do you actually set them up and how do you actually create a highly engaged community. Creating your freedom calendar, creating a 90-day profit plan. Every quarter, not only are you going to meet with me, but we're going to do a group profit planning day. It's a 2-hour session. We're going to create your profit plan with you. So I want you to think that this is a done with you offer. This is something that some of the things are going to be done for you. Some of the things are going to be done with you. Okay. So what else is inside? I already said the weekly live calls with me, the quarterly strategy sessions, the group Voxer daily access. Like that in itself is worth $10,000 to be able to Voxer me any day and get your questions answered in between sessions. Okay. Monthly one-on-one calls with a tech coach, messaging coach, productivity coach, or success coach. Okay. Monthly tech calls with our tech coach. So we do group tech calls every single month. So if you're like, I'm not really sure how to upload this to my email. I'm not really sure how to create my email. I'm not really sure how to, we've got you. We've got a tech coach here to support you. Again, I put the experts inside of this program to give you wraparound support. So you are not working with just a business coach. You're also working with a copywriter and a marketing coach. You're working with a tech coach. You're working with a productivity coach. You're working with our messaging coach, right? And these are our live guest experts too. I didn't even put a price tag on this. These women are masters at what it is that they do. And the only way that you can get their information is that if you work with them. Liz Nicholas is my personal mindset coach. I've worked with her privately for the past 3 years. She just did a training this morning inside of Activate Abundance on mindset and heart-centered sales. Kim Kasparian, one of my dear friends, her jam is collaborations and referrals. So Melissa, you were talking about that, right? That's another lever. How do we connect and collaborate with other people to get in front of their audiences, to leverage their audience, right? Nicole Kramer, one of my dear friends, she's a sales coach. She will help you move through how do you actually create more sales in your business in a way that feels good. I've got you on that too, by the way. I do a quarterly, a deep dive in what we call our activator calls every single quarter. In Q1, we go into how do you grow your audience. In Q2, we talk about how do you actually plan and create your nurture event. In Q3, how do you create more heart-centered sales? And in Q4, we talk about wealth consciousness and our mindset. So it's not just the weekly calls. We have all of these quarterly things too. So I want you to think of this as like a buffet, right? There are multiple ways that you can get support based on where you are in your business, right? If you need marketing support, great. You have, one-on-one marketing calls and group marketing calls every single month, right? If you want strategy, great. We've got you. Okay. Now, all of the value in here is really over $70,000. If I was to have to buy it all, and actually, if you had to hire all this out separately, you would have to hire a business coach, a tech coach, a mindset coach, a productivity coach, a Canva coach, a copywriter, a marketing agency, a visibility coach, and a sales coach, right? Because we have all of that here. You don't need to hire all of that. So it would run you easily. And I can tell you, I've easily spent over $100,000 on these types of coaches. Okay. And years of time, because you're not going to work with all of these at once. You're not going to be able to, right? You can't afford to do that all at once, right? Or you can join Activate. Activate Abundance Academy really gives you personalized support at a fraction of the cost. Now, the standard investment, you're not going to pay 70, you're not going to pay 50, you're not even going to pay 20. The standard investment is 20. From now until the 26th, you can enroll for $16K. you're actually saving 20%, you're saving $4,000, or you can make 12 payments of $1,333. That's the payment plan. And so that's your special from now until 8/26. We're giving you plenty of time to think about it, to hop on a call with me if you have questions. By the way, if you haven't made a call with me yet, and there's no time on my calendar, if you book the call before 8/26, I'll hold the discounted rate for you. Okay? I just want to make sure that if you have questions about this and you want my support, just book the call prior and I will hold it. Plus the first 5, I told you, I want you to create cash quickly. Okay. I want to help you create cash within the first month. Okay. So the first 5, get this private 30 days with me. I will help you create your offer. I will help you find who it is that you're going to reach out to, and we will create your strategy and your action plan so that you can bring in income the first 30 days in your business. Okay. That's the short-term strategy. We're going to look at your warm market. Okay. So that's Activate Abundance Academy. We will send, the link so that you can take a look at all of it again, right? I know if you guys are visual, that's why I created this for a visual. I actually would want to look at a website. So we're sending you the website link so you can actually look at it. Okay. And again, if this feels like a good fit for you, but you're not sure, you still have some questions, I'm here to help you make an empowered decision. I'm not here to convince you that this is what you need. I'm here to help you make an empowered decision about where you are in your business. And if you are a heart yes, and you're like, Chris, I'm a heart yes, I just am not sure how to pay for it, that's a different conversation, right? I don't have money conversations with people who are not first a heart yes. Okay. You have to be a heart yes. Yes, I want this. I'm not sure how to pay for it. Fine. Let's brainstorm. I'm happy to help you come up with some ideas. Okay. So Christine, you had a question.
Yeah, I just had a question, just,
Mhm.
this is a program that's opening soon.
Yeah.
And I wonder, do you have other programs like the launch program, and are they
Mhm.
cyclical
Yeah.
or
That's such a good question. So thank you for asking it. Yeah. So this is a year-long program, and this is the best way that you can get personal one-on-one support with me.
Mhm.
So my other programs don't come with personal one-on-one support. They don't come with Voxer access to me daily. They don't come with strategy calls with me. This is the only program that if you're not working with me in a one-on-one container, this is the second best way, right? So I do work with clients one-on-one, typically in containers of 6 months or longer. Sometimes I might open up some spots for, a month long or something, depending on what it is that people need. Happy to hop on a call with you guys if you just want one-on-one. Melissa.
This, I'm just confirming, this is, you're calling it wraparound support. So it's
Yep.
not an online course where I have to go in and log in and watch videos and things
It's
like that. It's
it's
more,
both. It's both, Melissa. We have both. So, and here's why. We want to make sure that you've got access to information, and everybody is at a different place in their business. So we do have online modules for you, but that is not, the only thing that you do. You're going to start with one module. Actually, we only open up each module every month because we don't want you to jump from one place to the next, right? If you don't know who your ideal client is, it's not going to serve you to try to go into the nurture module, right? And if you're much further along, I have a separate open modules, which I'll give you access to, but that's on a by client basis, depending on where you are in your business, what it is that you already have going on, right? I just want to make sure that you're getting the right support and you're not overwhelmed with too much information. Okay. So yes, we do have training modules, but we also have these one-on-one calls and the one-on-one calls with our coaches and group calls as well. So that's why we say it's wraparound support. It's not just done for you, a course where you take and you never have support. You don't have anybody to ask. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's a very big difference, right? Just having access to a course where you can't actually get your questions answered. Yeah. So, by the way, all of my courses. So Christine asked about Launch Well. Launch Well is actually a done for you 6-week or 12-week wellness program. So it's the same program that I took my clients through when I was a health coach. I created it, I've white labeled it, and you guys can have it. You can buy it. It's my whole marketing system. It's my marketing flyers. It's how to collaborate with doctors and holistic health practitioners. It's actually, the 6-week program that you can take my name off, put your name on, tweak it. It's editable. It's in Canva. So I'm just letting people know what Christine was asking about. That's called the Launch Well program. And then there are monthly calls that go with that, but they're not with me. They're with my tech coach, and they're with my success coach, a member of my team who has her own thriving health coaching business. And she is both trained in functional nutrition as well as a culinary nutritionist. So she does those Q&A calls and she does those tech calls for you, but you do get a tech call. So there are other options. If you're looking at this and you're like, I don't think I want all of this support, although I do. I mean, this is my signature flagship program. I know that it's amazing. My people get results here. Even when people start with other things, eventually they end up coming into Activate anyways, because what I teach is the short and the long-term strategy, right? It's not just getting your foundation styled in, which you can start there. If you're like, you know what? I just want to know, how do I create my program? What do I price it? What's my signature system? What's my ideal client? How do we create a freebie? Like, those are foundational pieces that I teach inside of our holistic business foundations, but we don't cover what you just learned today: attract, nurture, and invite, because that's the long-term strategy to have a profitable and a sustainable business, right? So yeah, depending on where you are, depending on what you need, there are options, and we can totally discuss that on our call. So I highly recommend just book a call with me, and I'll hear you and I'll point you in the right direction. And again, I am not, I'm not trying to get you into the penthouse, right? If you want the pool, you get the pool. If you don't want any of the rooms, that's fine too. I will, point you in another direction. But Activate Abundance Academy is my system that I have used to grow my business. And it's what I teach my clients to grow their business. And it's what I knew that I needed as a coach. And I put it all together because I knew that there were still going to be some gaps in copy, in messaging, in other ways. And so really, I decided to create it in a way that I know that it would have served me so much better and so much quicker, right? Then I wouldn't have had to hire, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4 different business coaches to learn different things. Right. Cool. With just my business coaches, we're over 100 grand. So, woo. All right. Any questions that I can answer for you today?
I just have a question, because I know for me, I need to just start building the foundation, but I know I would love to move into this eventually. How often do you start a new cycle? It's not, do I have to wait a whole year, or?
No. You do not have to wait a whole year. So Activate Abundance Academy, we open up about 4 different times a year.
Okay.
I do limit the number of people that can come in because you get one-on-one calls with me. So I can't take 40 people into the program because I don't have the capacity for that. And I want to make sure, again, wraparound support. I want to make sure that you get that one-on-one time with me. And so I have to make sure that I limit it. So we do at max, we cut it off at 15. So once we have 15 in, we're done. And you also, if you want to get the foundations in, what I didn't mention is that Holistic Business Foundations, which is our 6-month program, you actually get that for free when you are inside of Activate Abundance Academy. And so that's a $5,000 program that you get for free when you're inside of Activate Abundance. So you get to actually go through that program twice if you decide that you want to. That is only opened up twice a year, though. The next time we do that is going to be October. There's a start date and a stop date for that. So it's
October.
Yeah, October.
And you'll let us know, you'll keep us all informed of all of that. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Or, again, if you hop on a call with me, then, I can give you specific dates and just to help you decide whether that is exactly what you want.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for sure. You're welcome. Amazing. All right, ladies, I hope you have a beautiful evening. Yes. Thank you, Melissa. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Invite. We're going to talk about the 4 reasons why people say no and the ladder of belief. So please come back. You guys are going to love this. It's one of my favorite ones to teach. All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Welcome.